Many dream of becoming successful, but with the hard work and dedication required to create a masterpiece of a company, only few are successful. Take a minute to close your eyes and imagine founding a startup organization in the mid-90s when the internet was still in the early stages of development. Imagine taking a net loss of profits over your first 20 years of operation. Or imagine starting in your garage off of one computer and growing to become one of the largest businesses of all time.
Jeff Bezos did not have to imagine any of that. He lived the reality of it. For this research project studying the organizational behavior of a company, we have decided to analyze the structure of Amazon and the recent transfer of CEO from Jeff Bezos to Andy Jassy. But before we dive into our topic, let's take a moment to meet the team.
Everyone, my name is Luke Dietrich and I'm a finance major.
Easton Lanklos and I'm a management major.
Stephen Tran, I'm a finance major.
Matthew Taylor, management major.
And Sean Conway, management major.
We probably discuss the context at hand. We break down these concepts into various sections. To understand Amazon's situation, we must first define organizational behavior as a whole. Next, we will introduce the background history of Amazon and describe the actions we've been studying. From there, we will connect Amazon's situation to the topics covered in class and tie the organizational culture. Finally, we will wrap up by discussing the consequences of these actions, following by these references and your questions. Let's begin.
Organizational behavior can be defined as a field of study focused on understanding, explaining, and improving attitudes of individuals and groups. Furthermore, it is the academic study of how people interact within said groups, and its principles are applied primarily in attempts to make a business operate more effectively. Organizational behavior incorporates individuals who are associated within the organization, ranging from part-time employees all the way to CEOs. It applies to anyone and everyone within the specified organization. It is important because it allows managers to explain, predict, and influence behavior. It is beneficial for improving job performance, increasing job satisfaction, promoting innovation, and encouraging leadership, and is the foundation of corporate human resources. A proper understanding of organizational behavior can yield significant results for any group or team.
Amazon is a well-recognized, highly successful, multinational, technical online retailer known for the great selection of items, value prices, and quick delivery. Originally founded on July 5th, 1994 in Bellevue, Washington by Jeff Bezos, Amazon has grown from an online marketplace for books to the vast marketplace we all know and use.
This presentation is based around the actions that Amazon has recently taken as CEO. Jeff Bezos has decided to step down. Bezos has a passion for the company that he worked very hard to create and passed his leadership role to Andrew Jassy. Andrew Jassy has over 25 years of experience working for Amazon and was a former CEO of Amazon Web Services. He is still a close friend of Bezos and works to communicate with him to ensure the company is heading in the right direction. Bezos has made an effort to stay involved as he is still Amazon's top shareholder and the executive chairman. Amazon has also been looking to focus on new products and early initiatives, such as his space exploration company, Blue Origin, or his philanthropic goals of addressing climate change. It is impressive how Amazon has innovated over time, as they are already an extremely large organization.
We will be exploring and discussing 4 different organizational behavior concepts taught to us throughout the semester and relate them to our case study. These 4 topics are leadership motives, specifically inquiry approach, leadership through nature versus nurture, ethical dilemmas faced and the actions taken, and the organizational culture at Amazon.
The first organizational concept we will discuss is the inquiry approach. Since Andy Jassy took over as CEO, he has tried to turn the well-known independent culture of Amazon around. Unlike Bezos, Andy Jassy has been quoted as diplomatic and much more willing to collaborate with policy workers on Capitol Hill. He has already met with Washington numerous times, which is a serious improvement considering Bezos never stepped foot on Capitol Hill. Jassy is also determined to try to empower Amazon workers. Even though he still holds the same viewpoints on unions like Bezos, he still offered his employees more options on how they could conduct their work during COVID-19.
The second organizational concept we will discuss is the leadership motive. There are 2 leadership motives, nature and nurture. Nature is how our personalities form and influence the way we develop from childhood through adulthood. It includes the genes we are born with and other heritage factors, while nurture is the environmental factor that impacts who we are. This includes our early childhood experiences, the way we were raised, our social relationships, and the surrounding cultures. Jassy grew up clearly showing both nature and nurture. For nature, ever since a young age, Jassy has been described as competitive yet humble, claims that his competitive career has helped him perfect this virtue. For nurture, recalls father saying, "Whatever you do, either do it all the way or don't do it at all." A line Jassy said always stuck with me.
The third organizational concept we will discuss is the ethical dilemma. Since Andy Jassy has taken over CEO, many problems have arisen as the CEO. He has had to make some tough decisions on whether to look towards some long or short-term goals for the company. For the long-term dilemma, Amazon is going to be forced to cancel programs, halt hiring, and halt expanding the company to invest in itself and to invest in its already hired employees. Or Jassy could focus on the long-term health of Amazon's employees and the company and do some maintenance that may halt Amazon's growth, but would inevitably create a larger margins in the future. Jassy decided to put ego and pride aside and make the tough decision to focus on the long-term future of the company and make some sacrifices in the short term. He had to enact a freezing hiring for corporate roles in its retail business, shut down its telehealth service, discontinue a quirky video calling projector for kids, and closed all but one of its US call centers, axed its roving delivery robot, and shuttered underperforming brick and mortar chains, and is closing, canceling, or delaying some new warehouse locations. But by doing this, he was able to create a better future for Amazon by agreeing to acquire primary care provider One Medical for $3.9 billion and spending about $1 billion over the next year on wage increases, expanding benefits for frontline workers, and hiring 150,000 more workers in 2023.
With a change of leadership from the very top of Amazon, Jassy has been expected to maintain and innovate the culture within the organization. Some of the values from within the organization that have been demonstrated by Jassy are customer focus, stability, and outcome orientation. Jassy is well known for being obsessed with the customer and has said that Amazon is customer focused and not competitor focused. He inserts himself in many of Amazon's deals to ensure that the company is heading in the right direction. He is also outcome oriented by the way that he prioritizes increasing shareholder value and company profits. Jassy's ability to continue to innovate and compete proves that he is a leader that values stability and security of the company.
To conclude, we will examine the consequences of the change in Amazon's leadership at the CEO position. Right before his departure, Bezos sold 1.5 million shares, netting him $5 billion in profit. Despite this major event, the stock price was relatively unchanged in the following days. However, within the first couple of days of his leadership, Jassy enacted a hiring freeze for the top corporate roles to cut down on the costs during COVID-19. Due to the hiring freeze, canceling programs, and limiting expansion, the stock prices dipped as low as 40% during the 2021 year. However, Jassy is committed to improving the already gigantic company by giving better worker benefits, which would soon result in a decrease of the union strikes amongst workers.
To learn more, feel free to check out our references shown here.
Thank you. Any questions?